Okay, so now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay, today we will continue talking about Kaṅkhāvitaraṇavisuddhi, purification for overcoming doubt. In this chapter, I will add many other things apart from more than Visuddhimagga, because in Visuddhimagga it just mentioned very short statement. Then there will be many other questions you may ask for this topic. So I will try to answer all the questions in the talk, in order that you may not need to ask many questions after the Dhamma talk. Okay, so now when we are going to talk about Kaṅkhāvitaraṇavisuddhi, now we must also know the causes. Now what are the causes and how many causes do we have? Then this purification overcoming doubt also calls the knowledge of cause apprehension according to insight knowledges. So previously we have already talked about discerning mentalities and materialities, Namarupa Parigraha. After discerning mentalities and materialities, we also have to discern the causes of mentality and materialities. So now we have to start talking about the causes. So there will be the next one, mention about Janaka Hetu. The producing cause, such as ignorance, craving, formations, and so on. Here I just say brief introductions of Janaka Hetu. Actually, there are many other causes. In every single conditions, there will be producing causes, or another thing is like supporting causes. Upatamaka Hetu. Supporting causes such as nutriment and so on. So according to ultimate realities, different ultimate materialities, there will be different causes. For example, when we talk about nutriment-born materialities, at the time nutriment will be Janaka Hetu. But for other materialities, nutriment will be only supporting cause. It depends on the condition. There will be different Janaka Hetu, different Upatamaka Hetu. So we have to know these two different causes. So later we have to explain a little bit more in detail about Janaka Hetu. Also, we have to explain something about Upatamaka Hetu, supporting causes. So in the case of mentality, of course, there are different types, Sadharana Hetu and Asarana Hetu. The next one. So Sadharana Hetu means general cause. This is just for mentalities. For example, the 6 doors. So when we talk about 6 doors, for example, endowment process. If we don't have eyes, then we cannot see anything. There cannot be endowment process. That's why 6 doors are also called general causes. Eye, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So without these 6 doors, there cannot be any mental process. They are general causes. We may see different visible objects, different shapes, different colors, but all the things will arise in the iron base or iron doors. Without that, we cannot see anything. Similarly, we may have many different hear any sounds, right? So the main thing is all the audible, good and bad or anything, it strikes, in the ear base, then we can hear. So that is why all the sense bases are general causes. Similarly, the sense objects, color, sound, smell, taste, touch, or tangible objects, or Dhamma objects that can impinge on the mind door. So these are called sarana hetu, general causes. So all the wholesome, unwholesome, and other mentalities come from these six doors and six objects. Sometimes when we have wise attention, there will be wholesome. When we have our wise attention, it will be unwholesome mentalities. So all the things come from six doors and sense objects. That is why if we think about the causes, we also have to know sarana hetu, general causes. So when we are going to discern the cause and effect relationship, we also have to know the six senses and six objects. The two, asadharana hetu, specific cause. Okay, here we have many different specific cause. For example, yoniso manasikara, wise attention. It is for wholesome mind. So whenever wholesome mental process arises, there will be yoniso manasikara, wise attention. This is a specific cause. Without that, there cannot be wholesome mental process. Contrary to that, there will be ayoniso manasikara, unwise attention, unwise intention. If we have unwise intention, it will be unwholesome mental process. It will be specific cause for unwholesome mentalities. So the next one is Sattama Savanadi. Here I just use the original Pali words, then Sattama Savanadi, Adimi, etc. Listening to the Noble Dhamma and so on. So that means when we listen to the Noble Dhamma, then we become wiser. We know how to train, how to practice. Then we can also have most right attention. Then we can also have wholesome mind. So contrary to that, there will be asatama savana, ignoble dhamma. If we have to listen many untrue dhammas, improper dhamma, then there will be many unwholesome minds, many unwholesome thoughts, or many unwholesome mental process. So here I just use the Pali word adi, dhamma savanadi, right? Adi means etc. and so on. Actually, according to the base and the object, there can be different other specific causes. For example, in the case of endowment process, then we also need the light. Without the lighting, we cannot see the object. This also can be specific cause. Actually, we have already explained many things about sense doors and sense mental objects, mental subject before. That's why, sense door and mental process before. That's why there will be many other causes. In the case of sounds, there must be space between ears and audio object. In the case of smell, there will be one element between object and the nostril. In the case of the flavor, there must be arbor, right? Arbor, that means wetness. In the case of body doors, there must be other element, right? So these are specific objects of mental process. And not only that, there are many other specific objects, a specific cause for different mental process. It will be too wide. Then whenever we talk about our wise attentions, also, right, we also have to know the conditions of our wise attention. Sometimes listening to wrong view holder, we can have wrong view. And we have our wise attention. So again, Sadhama Savana, listening to noble Dhamma. There are many conditions if we don't have noble friends, wise people. We cannot listen to the noble Dhamma. That's why there are many, many other causes, specific causes for mental process or mentality. So there are the causes of wholesome mentality. Okay, here I just talk about wholesome mentality. In the slide, I just mentioned Yonisomanasikara and Sadhama Savana, right? These are just for wholesome. For wholesome, it will be the opposite. Then karma is the cause of resultant consciousness. In every single mental process, there are also resultant consciousnesses. The karma will be the cause of all the resultant consciousness in every single mind moment. Then bhavanga, life continuum, is the cause of functional consciousnesses. So in the case of functional consciousness, there are many, many, there are many, many mental process functional, there are many, many functional consciousnesses, even in the mental process. For example, mind-over consciousness or fight-over consciousnesses, they are functional consciousness. Before that, there is a bhavanga, life continuum. That's why they also call specific causes of functional consciousness. Actually, there are many, many other things we have to know about this. Okay, briefly, when we are going to discern cause and effect relationship, we also have to know both Saradhana Hetu, general cause, and Saradhana Hetu, specific cause. If we can understand all the things, it will be easier for us to continue our practice. Then we also have another part to explain. There are 4 causes of mental materialities. The next one. So there are 4 causes of materialities. They are conditioned by karma, consciousness, temperature, nutriment. Okay, here I should explain a bit more in detail about karma. Later also I have to explain about karma. For example, we have good eyesight. The eyesight, these are produced by karma. Also similarly, we have good ears, good nose. Good nose means good smelling, right? So very, very strong sensation about smelling. Similarly, taste and touch are tangible. All these things are produced by karma. Of course, we also need nutriment to sustain it. If we don't have proper nutriment, we cannot sustain it. This is also important. So karma is producing cause of all the translucent kalapas, translucent materialities. Then not only that, there are life faculties, research materialities, and harm materialities. They are produced by karma. So there are many rupas produced by consciousness. We can practically experience in our daily life. Sometimes our body is very, very heavy when we feel sad, sorrow, and fear, or worry, something, right? Body become very heavy. Sometimes because of fear, right? You may jump very high. Your body become very light. Also can happen, right? Sometimes like when you are fear of something, you may climb very high wall or very high trees, but you cannot come down, right? You cannot go down anymore. You can climb up, but you cannot go down because you don't know how to go down. This is a process by mind. So that means the main thing is sometimes our body is very light, sometimes our body becomes very heavy. It depends on our mind. When our minds are happy, sure, we are very active. When we feel a lot of sorrow, suffering, miserable life, or depressions, we're gonna feel happy. our body become very weak. We don't want to move. We don't want to do anything, right? This is produced by consciousness. Temperature, this is also one of the causes. When we have good weather, we are a little bit active. When we have bad weather, not that much active, right? So similarly, nutriment, good nutriment, and also bad nutriment. If we have good nutriment or maybe proper nutriment, suitable nutriment, then our body will be healthy. Also, we have our minds a little bit fresh also, right? If we don't have suitable nutriment, then our body start changing. We have to suffer a lot from this body. So, okay, the main thing is we have 4 causes of materialities. Among the 4, only karma is a past cause. Okay, that means our past karma produce all the karma produce materialities in this very life. Then the remaining 3 causes are present. So that means consciousness, it depends on how is our mind in this very life. Temperature is come from how we live, where we live. Nutriment, it depends on what we eat. It depends on present conditions, our body will change. That's why consciousness, temperature, and nutriment are present causes. So when we are going to practice, going to discern the causes of materialities, we must know these 4 causes. These are also called specific causes. Every single karma produce materialities, also consciousness produce or mind produce, temperature produce, nutriment produce materialities, they have specific cause. So we also have to know this asarana hetu, specific cause, right? This is the part we have to know. Then, okay, next one, we also have to know all types of materiality. Having seen the rise of materiality, conditioned by causes in this way, our understanding that just as it's now, so it's in the past, so it will be in the future. So this is just explanation shortly, right? So in reality, as we can discern causes in this very life, we also have discern causes in the past lives, causes in the future. It's not by imaginary. We must know with our direct knowledge. We must experience with our inside knowledge. Thus, contemplating in this way, by means of knowledge, all talk about the past, present, future are abundant. So that means if we can know the causes of the past that produce this very life, causes of the future we are accumulating in this very life, then we may believe there's a past lives, there's a future lives. We also doubt about past, present, future. Especially in the present life, we talk about everlasting entity, self or soul. So if we don't know the arise of mentality and materialities and their causes, then we cannot overcome doubt about past, present, and future. So we have to know all the conditions, all the past, present, and the future. Last week, we have already talked about patterna conditions according to mental process, but not that much in detail. But anyway, now we have to understand again all the doubt. Also, we have already talked about the doubt when we explain Vicikiccha and the mentalities. Okay, now we have to introduce 16 types of doubt. So we have doubt about the past. Did I exist in the past? That means, is there any life in the past? 2, did I not exist in the past? That means whether I have never been born in the past. So these two, sometimes we have doubt about our past, whether I have been born in the past or not. When we have this kind of doubt, sure, we must try to know the past. It's not by imaginary, it must be practical. If we can know our past with our own knowledge, our own experience, we may believe it. Then again, what is it? What was I in the past? This means in the past, have I been born as a human being or a divine being, an animal, or any other types of living beings? So we must know what kind of living beings we had been in the past. This is called what was I in the past. 4. How was I in the past? This is also one of the questions we wish to know. How was I means whether I have been born short or long or tall. How is the mind body, right? It can be long, short, square, like for example, snake. It can be very long, right? Among the human being also tall and short. So we have many differences. So that means we must know how do we look like in the past. This is also one of the doubts about the past. 5. What was I having been in the past? Actually, we have to know a few more things here. Before the first past life, what is the second past lives? So we have now compared to this life, maybe our very close, the past karma will go this life, right? That means past life. We can say the first past life. Before the first past life, what's the second past life? So we also have a doubt about this. Then these are called doubt about the past. So without discerning past causes, past lives, past mentalities and materialities, we cannot overcome these types of doubts. Then there are many arguments about purifications of overcoming doubts. Some meditation teachers said, no, we don't need to discern the past. Vipassana must be only present. Past already finished. We cannot see it anymore. This is the way they interpret. But when we go and read in Visuddhimagga or many other texts about purification overcoming doubt, you will mention the same. We must know the past lives. We must overcome the doubt about the past. Without overcoming, then we don't have the knowledge of cause apprehension. Because I always say karma is the past cause to produce this life. So we have to know past karma, how we accumulate. Then we also have to know all these 5 conditions of the past. And again, another doubt about the future. Will I exist in the future? So that means, will I be reborn in the future? Then 2, will I not exist in the future? That means, will I not be reborn in the future? So this means we have doubt about our future, whether we will be reborn or not. So there are many people, they just say, the future is not sure, right? That means there's no future, no rebirth. Even Natika Ditti, it mentioned there's no future lives, no past lives, no unseen beings, no noble persons. They have this kind of belief. Anyway, now when we talk about the doubt, we may also doubt about our future lives, whether we will be reborn or not. Then 3, what will I be in the future? Similar to past, if we have to be reborn in the future, what kind of living being we will be? For example, human being, divine being, animal, what kind of living being shall we be in the future? So we have this kind of doubt. Then 4, will I be? How will I be in the future? That means how do we look like? How shall we look like on the future? So it can be long or short or tall or short. It depends on our appearance, right? Like for example, now in our environment, we may see many different types of animals, right? Different shapes, different appearance. Then we have to know how do we look like? How shall we look like in the future? Now 5, what will I become having been in the future? So that means we now compared to this life, we may have the first future. After that, the first future gamma will produce the second future. What will be the second future? We have already mentioned about the past, right? After first past lives, we also have to know second past lives. Similarly, after the first future, we also have to know the second future. We may have a doubt about future. So these are the 5 kinds of doubts about the future. It's not by imaginary, but we must know with our direct knowledge. If we can know everything in detail, that means we can overcome doubt about the future. So future is changeable. It depends on present karma. For example, now we may know our future is right in the deva realms, but if we accumulate many agusala, our future can change. If we change our habit, our future also can change. So briefly, we must discern cause and effect relationship of future and the present. Okay, now we have doubt about the present. There are 6 doubts about the present. When we talk about the present, we also have to know something about atta, self, or soul, or everlasting entity. So we have also doubt about atta in this very life. That I'm an atta, or am I not atta? We have this kind of doubts. When we study Sakaya Ditti, for example, that when we talk about Rupa Khanda, material aggregate, there is everlasting entity in the material aggregate. We make this kind of view. This is called Sakaya Ditti, identity view. So there will be everlasting entity in the materiality. Similarly, there is materialities in the everlasting entity. We make this kind of view. This is also called identity view, Sakaya Ditti. So we have this kind of doubts, whether I am an atta or not atta. So that means there's some everlasting entity inside this body. It will move to another body when we pass away. When we have this kind of belief, this is called identity view. According to Buddha's teaching, city of mentality arise and perish up to death moment. In the death moment also, after passing away, it will move, then there we rise and stay in another life. So this life, Namarupa, will never move to another life. This life is a new life, new mentalities, but it's caused by present life. Okay, now again, what am I? If we say there's an everlasting entity in this body, what kind of thing it is? It's a law. So it is a what kind of right everlasting entity? That means there can be many different everlasting entity, right? Different beliefs. There will be different conditions. Then again, how am I? That means everlasting entity. How does it look like? A square, round, or what kind of everlasting entity? So like, for example, like what am I, right? For example, like I'm a god, right? That means according to other religion, the gods, we all come from the gods. We also God, right? Come from the gods. Maybe it's another body of the gods, creation of the gods. When we have this kind of belief, I mean, we also know how do it look like? How our adult look like? Okay, now again, 5. Where has this being come from? Okay, this means past causes. We must know the past causes. Without knowing the past causes, we can overcome about the present. We have already talked about cause of a relationship many different ways, according to Buddha's teaching. Next time, we also have to talk about karma, its a result. Anyway, so this body is produced by past karma. There are many other reasons, many other causes also. Okay, now again, where will it go? What will be future lives of this body? So these are 6 types of doubts about everlasting entity in the present, in this very life. If we can overcome all these 16 types of doubts, that means we have already discerned cause and effect relationship clearly. We can also understand that if we can overcome all these types of doubts, then we are also called small Sotapanna, Chula Sotapanna. You may have already known this kind of things in your knowledge, maybe, right? In your memory. Many people talk about small Sotapanna. What does it look like, small Sotapanna? Actually, the knowledge of overcoming, the purifications of overcoming view. Purifications of view, Purifications of view. This is also called Namarupa discernment. At the time, we have already overcome ditthi, wrong view. But when we can discern past causes, or the cause and relationship, past, present, future, we have overcome doubts. So ditthi vicikicca. You have already known this one, right? Sotapanna will eradicate ditthi vicikicca, wrong view and doubt. So although we haven't eradicated wrong view and doubt in this knowledge, in this practice, but we have already overcome by inside knowledge. That is why this is similar to small Sotapanna, Chula Sotapanna. It will be different from Maha Sotapanna or Riya Sotapanna, right? In the case of Riya Sotapanna, they will eradicate ditthi vicikicca with their past and future knowledge totally without remainder. Yeah, in the case of cause of brilliant knowledge, the purifications of overcoming doubts, we just overcome by inside knowledge. We haven't uprooted yet. That is why it's called small Sotapanna. Okay, if we say easier way, small Sotapanna eradicates ditthi vicikicca by inside knowledge. We can also eradicate, overcome Ditthi by insight knowledge. But real Sotapanna will eradicate and uproot Ditthi with path and fruition knowledge. These are two different things between Chula Sotapanna and Mahasotapanna. Okay, now I have to continue something about the source. Many people ask, is there any source reference that we can discern past lives with insight knowledge? Is there any statement, any other source apart from Visuddhimagga? Right, many people ask this question. Then we have to explain one of the sutta from Samyutta Nikaya. We call Kaccaniya Sutta. So the sutta will be a little bit long and very wide. I cannot explain all the information in detail, but I will try my best to summarize Kaccaniya Sutta. I will just use only important part of Kaccaniya Sutta. So the Buddha delivered this discourse in Savatthi to the bhikkhu. You may have already known many sutta, right? Buddha addressed the bhikkhu, the bhikkhu replied, Venerable Sir, you may have already known all the information. So I will not add all the things here. The Blessed One addressed bhikkhus, whoever amongst ascetics and Brahmins recollect their previous lives in various ways, they all recollect the 5 aggregates of clinging. So according to Buddha's teaching, so we have already mentioned something about, right, discerning cause of a relationship in the past. And later we also have to explain, for example, nobody ascetic also can recollect their past lives. They don't have very strong and powerful insight knowledge, but they cannot recall it as detailed as the Buddha disciple. So in Buddha's teaching, we have Namarupa discernment. We also have to know mental process. That is why Buddha disciple can discern all the past lives in detail, more than non-Buddha ascetics and Brahmins. Okay, whatever or whoever discerns the past lives, then they will discern only 5 aggregates of clinging. That means 5 clinging aggregates. So this is the introductions of Kaccaniya Sutta. Okay, in this context, we can also understand non-Buddha ascetics also can recall their past lives, can know their past lives. There will be some other cases for it. As I have mentioned before, in Buddha teaching, we have to know Namarupas. We also have to discern cause and effect relationship. We also have insight knowledge. Then we can discern everything easily, smoothly. But for non-Buddhists, like a blind people, touching the road and the path have to move slowly, right? Similarly, they have to follow very slowly to know their past lives. Like a blind people going. But they don't have very strong insight knowledge. This will be a little bit different from Buddhists and non-Buddhists. Okay, again, when we talk about 5 clinging aggregates, what are called 5 clinging aggregates? In reality, we have already mentioned before. But here, according to the suttas, I just introduce Rupa, Vena, Sanya, and Vijnana, Sankhara, Vijnana, right? Rupa is here. It is affected by cold, heat, hunger, thirst, contact with the flies, mosquitoes, other insects, wind, and sand. Okay, now here, materialities, material aggregate. What does that mean, materialities, rupa? So if it is affected by cold, actually, we all have known that in the hell there are fire, right? We know fire, right? But there are some hell is very, very cold. Very cold wind, like ice. You may have already experienced, right? Snowing in the Western country. It's very, very cold. It's very terrible, right? Also, there's also frostbite, which is too cold. Similarly, in the hell, there are that kind of things. Very cold hell. It can damage the body. Then this is also called materialities. They have to suffer from cold. Heat, you have already know in the hell also there's very strong heat. It also can affect the body. It also can affect materialities. But the main thing is the heat and cold. Okay, it can be in the hell. In the human realm also we have heat and cold. When body become very cold also we have to suffer. When body become very heat also, very hot also, we have to suffer. Now practically in Pao Doya, we have many big bhikkhus. They call flu. Because the weather is changing. Today no rain. In the morning, and now in the afternoon no rain. In the morning it's raining. Weather is changing very quickly. So that means rupa it can be affected by cold and heat. Now that's the hunger and thirst. So here, when we say hunger and thirst, you may have already known something about ever hungry ghost. In the ghost, right? Although they want to drink something, then they cannot find any water. Even they jump down into the river, all the water disappear because they are past karma. Their karma is very heavy. They are very hungry. Then, although they're trying to get right saliva out of people, somebody spit saliva, they want to take it, but although saliva is not that easy for them to drink. So that means for ever hungry ghost or thirsty ghost or burning ghost, they have to suffer a lot, right? This materiality is affected by hunger and thirst. Okay, for human being also, if we are hungry, our bodies are not very well. Similarly, if we are thirsty also, this body is not very well. Right? If we don't drink water, if we don't drink enough water, we can say, right? Body become very smelly. It's really change affected by hunger and thirst. Similarly, contact with the flies, mosquitoes, and other insects. So we have to therefore also, right? Actually, mosquito cannot bite our minds. It can bite our body. This is the rupa affected by flies, mosquitoes, and many other insects. Similarly, wind and sun. So sunlight also can touch this body, also can change the body. The wind also can touch this body, also can change the body. It's affected by rupa. So one more thing here. When we say rupa, in Pali we call rupana. Rupana means changing, transforming. This is called rupa. Okay, all these conditions make this body change. For example, affected by cold. What is it changing? Heat, hunger, thirst. Similarly, when we are bitten by some insects also, our body is changing. Similarly, touched by the wind, touched by the sunlight, body is changing. This is called rupa. So when we talk about material aggregates, it will be more in detail. Actually, we have already talked about different types of materialities in our previous talks last year, right? Okay, now again, Vedana, feeling. It feels pleasure, pain, neither pleasure nor pain. This is called Vedana, feeling. It's very clear for everybody, right? I don't need to explain that one. But here it just mentioned only 3 types of feeling. When we study Abhidhamma, we may have five types of feeling. Two from bodily. Sukha, dukkha, pleasant feeling in this body, also unpleasant feeling in this body. Then we also have somanasa, domanasa. Somanasa means pleasure. Domanasa means displeasure in the mind. Upekkha can be equanimous feeling. Neither pain, neither pleasure, nor displeasure. Neither pleasant, nor unpleasant. This is called upekkha vedana. Okay, sanya, perceptions. Also, it perceives blue, yellow, red, white. It can be many different color. It will marks. It will perceives many different things in our mind. We may have a lot of memory of the past. All our perceptions we perceive, we mark in our mind. Then we remember the one. So then you may memorize many suttas. You may also do many chanting. So why we can remember many things? Because our perception becomes very strong. Our sanya is very strong. That is why we can remember many things. If we don't have very strong perceptions, very strong sanya, we cannot remember. Okay, now we have another one, sankhara, formation. So it conditions mentalities to be mentalities, feeling to feel. Okay, one more thing. So sankhara just conditions mentality to be mentalities. It also conditions feeling to feel something. Perception to perceive something. Living or non-living things. Formation, it was a condition, formation to form something. Then also it conditions consciousness to know the object. These are called sankhara. When we talk about sankhara khanda, it will be very wide. Actually, we have already talked about sankhara khanda many times in the past, in many different Dhamma talks or many different classes. Anyway, when we say sankhara, it will conditions all the five aggregates. Then vijnana. Vijnana means consciousness. It connects sour, bitter, potent, sweet, alkaline, non-alkaline, salty, non-salty. Okay, we can say any kind of taste. Just example, actually. The vijnana can know everything. We will know many different things. It's by vijnana consciousness. Okay, here it just mentioned very simple example, right? We can know many other things also. So these are five aggregates according to Kaitaniya Sutta. Then the Buddha also mentions how educated person, noble person, know the five aggregates. An educated noble disciples considered that I am consumed by materialities in the present. Yeah, consume. Embody kachaniya. Kachaniya means biting. Bite. We bite something, right? Bite. So consumed by materialities in the present. Okay, one more thing here. We can also translate I am bitten by materialities in the past. So unwise, we can say, right? Sorry. I am bitten by materiality in the present. Here also mentioned I was consumed by materiality. Okay, we can also say bitten by. Bitten by materialities in the past. In the same way, in the future. 2, I will be consumed by materiality in the same way. So that means I will be bitten by or bitten by materiality in the same way. So in the case of Kaṅkhāvitaraṇavisuddhi Sutta, it mentioned present, past, future. In the past, as a materiality, material aggregate, we can say, like material aggregate. I was bitten by material aggregate. Then he also mentioned, I should not delight in the future materiality in order that I may not be consumed by materiality. I am consumed by materiality in the present. As I am consumed by materiality in the present. So that means if I rejoice, if I delight in materialities, then we are bitten by or consumed by materialities. Okay, here we just say delight. It also can be like attachment. We like this body. We like 5 aggregates. Then we may be bitten by 5 aggregates all the time. Okay, practically, I have already mentioned, right? Bitten here in the Kaṅkhāvitaraṇavisuddhi Sutta, I have already mentioned 5 aggregates. For example, Rupa, I already mentioned heat, cold. Bitten by heat, bitten by cold, hunger, thirst, everything I mentioned before. Similarly, feeling. Sometimes we are bitten by good, pleasant, unpleasant, neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Similarly, for about perceptions, formations, consciousness, we are bitten by all 5 aggregates. So here I just mentioned only one aggregate, material aggregate. We should understand the same in remaining aggregates. So the last one, I should not delight in the future material in order that I may not be consumed by materiality as I am consumed by materiality in the present. So that means if we are consumed by present material aggregate, right? If we delight in the future, it will be consumed by it again. So we have already delighted in past aggregate. That's why, right? We are consumed by present aggregate now. So that means if we like something, then we have to accept the result, the consequence. So present will be conditioned for the future. Right? So if we delight in the future also, it will be conditioned for the next future. So this is the conditions mentioned in Kaṅkhāvitaraṇavisuddhi Sutta. Okay, now we have to explain something about explanations of Kaṅkhāvitaraṇa. What is it really called? Kajami. Consumed, tortured, injured, harmed, annoyance, according to the commentary. Yeah, Atakatha, right? So that means that's considering this, he is not attached to the past materiality, does not delight in the future materiality, and practice for the disenchantment, dispassion, and cessation of present materialities. So that means, I already mentioned, right? This aggregate is consumed by aggregates, right? Also we can say torture by aggregate, injure by aggregate, harms by aggregate, annoyance by aggregate. This is called Kaṅkhāvitaraṇa. So if we know this body, that means we are harmed by 5 aggregate, right? Then we may not have attachment to, if we can know, right? We are harmed by, or tortured by, injured by, consumed by, annoyed by aggregates, then we may not have attachment to materialities. That means we may not have attachment to past materiality. We does not delight in future materialities and practice for the disenchantment. In Bali we call nibida, dispassion, we call viraga, cessation, nirodha, of the present materialities. So this is the purpose. Not to have attachment or not to delight, we must practice. Right? For disenchantment, dispassions, or cessation of present materialities. If we don't practice, it will happen in the future. Sometimes we have attachment to the past also, right? You can remember many of your past memory. Some of them are really very enjoyable. You may have attachment to past, even in this very life. Similarly, we may have past lives. All the past karma influence this very life. Okay, briefly, if we know that we are tortured by aggregates, we may have attachment to, we may not have attachment to aggregate. We may not delight in aggregate. We may practice to be free from aggregate. This is really very important. Okay, now another one. According to commentary, Patipanno hoti. Okay, this one. Patipanno hoti. That means to be free from all the 5 clean aggregates, we have to practice. Patipanna means practice. What is it? How is it really called practicing? Starting with morality, sila, he proceeds until he reaches the path of arhatship. This is, we call Patipanno hoti. In the Visuddhimagga, we have 7 purifications. Right? We are talking about 7 purifications. Sila is the first purity. Because on starting with morality, he proceeds, practicing samadhi and panya until he attains arhatship. This is called Patipanno hoti. To be free from aggregates, clinging aggregates. Whoever possesses strong wisdoms, direct knowledge, supreme insight, and is skilled in meditation, engages in striving on the foundations of exertion, whether by developing concentration in solitude or through intense contemplation, ignoring painful feeling, maintaining the main meditation subject, and contemplating it well until he attains arhatship. This is the part explained in the commentary. Okay, here we have many explanations. Perception, strong wisdom. If we don't have very strong wisdoms, we cannot see it. We cannot know it. Or the direct knowledge. We must experience with our direct knowledge, not hearsay, not by hearsay. Supreme insight, that means very powerful insight knowledge. And it's skill in meditation, so we must be very skillful in meditation, right? Also engage in striving on foundations of exertion. Okay, here, vidya, very strong efforts. Whether by developing concentration in solitude. So we must develop concentration in the solitude. This is the one thing. Or through intense contemplation. That means very powerful contemplation. Continuous contemplations of Namarupa as Anicca Dukkha Anatta. Ignoring painful feeling. Maintaining the main meditation subject. Be careful with this one. Ignoring painful feeling. Painful feeling, be careful, right? So here in this case, it doesn't mention we must focus on the painful feeling. It just mention ignoring painful feeling. This is from Kaitanya Sutta commentary. Maintaining the main meditation subject. Okay, be careful here. We must ignore the painful feeling. Now we must maintain main meditation subject. When you are doing anapanasati, it must be anapanasati. Don't follow painful feeling or anything. Then contemplating until he attains arhatship. Okay, I have already said the same story many times. Actually, in the Kaitanya Sutta also mentioned the same things, right? For example, the bhikkhu eaten by a tiger. according to 𝐸𝐸 Sutta. When he was eaten by a tiger, he was just meditating. The tiger started eating from the legs. You can imagine how painful it will be, but he ignored the pain. He just keep practicing main subjects, and he could attain leadership. This is one statement. Then you also have already known the story of Venerable Mahātissa. I think every meditation teacher talk about that story. He broke his legs by hitting with stones. Then he couldn't walk anymore. Very painful feeling, you can also imagine. As you have already known, I got injured in my legs, right? It's very painful. That's injured, not broken. He strike purposely, very pain. He cannot walk anymore. He could overcome painful feeling because of the ignoring painful feeling, according to this statement here. Then actually in this case, it explained very much in detail how he ignored in the story in 𝐸𝐸 Sutta commentary. He just recalled his morality. So when he can recall his morality is very pure, no more regrets. Then there will be delight. We call Paripamoja. When Pamoja became very powerful, it produced piti, joy. When piti became very powerful, it will produce passaddhi, tranquility. When tranquility, piti passaddhi, tranquility became very powerful, it could ignore his feeling. And the power of piti passaddhi. When we have very strong piti, it produces sukha, bliss. You can imagine how he could overcome all the things. So that means, according to this Sutta also it mentioned, ignoring painful feeling by the power of rapture, tranquility, and bliss. Then again, in the case of Venerable Mahātissa, he could practice Vipassana very well and he attained leadership. This is mentioned in Kaccaniya Sutta. Again, this is known as practicing for disenchantment, dispassions, and cessation of feeling, according to the commentary here. So the main thing is we must practice all the 7 purifications systematically until we can attain leadership. This is the main point. Okay, now we have to move the next part. I'm inclusive in feeling, perception, formations, right? And consciousness. So to overcome from all these things, we have to do the same process. Okay, now, Tibrivata Desana, taught by the Buddha. So after explaining all the things, right, I'm consumed by 5 clinging aggregates, then also we have to practice for disenchantment, dispassions, and cessation of all the 5 clinging aggregates. Then the Buddha also explained here, what do you think, bhikkhus? Is material form permanent or impermanent? That means material is it permanent or impermanent? Then bhikkhu answer, impermanent Venerable Sir. So what is impermanent, pleasant or unpleasant? Unpleasant Venerable Sir. Is it proper to regard what is impermanent, unpleasant, and subject to change as this is mine, this I am, this is myself? No, Venerable Sir. So we can find similar statement for remaining aggregate. We call it Tibrivata Desana. So here it mentions it's not mine. Etamama, it's all must be, it's all me ada, right? This is a mine. Etamama. This am I is all must be. This is myself is Somi Atta. We can find similar statements in many suttas in Samyutta Nikaya. This is the mind. Of course, if we know anicca, we don't have this kind of attachment. Right? This is attachment. This is I. We can also say mana. We call asmi mana. It's all asmi mana. Pride, conceit, arrogance, stubborn. Right? Oh, sorry. This is the mind. If we know this is a changing, right? If we know it's a changing, then we may not have this kind of mana. If we know suffering, we don't say this is the mind. The first one, this is the mind, right? If we know suffering, we don't have this kind of mindset. If we know impermanent, we don't have this asmi mana. If we know anatta, we don't say this is the myself. To me, this means by the power of contemplating anicca, dukkha, anatta, we can overcome all these types of concepts. This is called Diptivada Desana. Which you can also understand the same for remaining aggregate. Okay, I have to proceed another one according to the commentary. So, in the very beginning of the Kaitaniya Sutta, I have already mentioned then all the non-Buddhist ascetics, Brahmins also can recollect their past lives. Right? In Bali, we call Pupi Niwasan. Pupi means past. Niwasan means living. Then they can know how they live in the past. This statement is not made with a reference to knowledge of supernormal power. Okay, here that means it's not by psychic power, but rather with reference to insight meditation. So that means we can know the past lives with insight knowledge. So this means many people misunderstand, right? We can know past life with psychic power. According to this statement, we can also know past lives with insight knowledge. It is said that the ascetics and Brahmins who collect past lives do so with insight meditation. So that means there are also some non-Buddhist ascetics and Brahmins, they also know Namarupas, but not so powerful insight like Buddha disciples. Then he understands all these are 5 aggregates of clinging, and they recollect them as such. So that they can also recall their past lives with insight knowledge. So when they recall, they just recall only 5 clinging aggregates, not more than that. Okay, now we have to move the next statement according to the commentary. When we collect him through the supernormal powers, the aggregates, the clinging aggregates, related to aggregates, or conceptualized, are considered as objects. This is the first part. We have to explain it. So when somebody can attain psychic power, and when they can know the past lives, they can know the aggregates and clinging aggregates and something connected to the body, such as how they wear, how they live, how they eat, and their name, or their lineage. They could know everything related to their body, their aggregate. This is by the power of apinya, psychic power. But when we are going to discern past lives with insight knowledge, we cannot know that much in detail. Therefore, those who recollect do not recollect any beings or person, but recollect only the material aggregate that has ceased in the past. Here we can say that has perished in the past, we can say. So that in the past, they already finished. They have already passed away. But we could recall with inside knowledge, or we can also know by psychic power. So this is the statement according to Kaitaniya Sutta. The same applies to the feeling and soul, so on. That means feeling aggregates, perception aggregates, formation aggregates, consciousness aggregates also the same things. We can know all the aggregate or the past by the power of inside knowledge. Okay, now we have to proceed the last part of today's topic, divine origination. So here we can learn different orders of divine originations according to Samudra Nikaya. Actually, in Nidana Sayutta, we can find many different teachings of divine origination. And having seen the decay and destruction of these formations, mentality and materiality, one understands that this is aging and death of formations, namely the dissolutions of formations. So again here, if we summarize this statement, by discerning arising and passing away of mentalities and materialities, we can know the aging and death of ultimate realities. Okay, one more thing here. In every single mind moment and in every single materialities, we have three stages: the arising stage, the theta stage, and the aberration stage. So here, when we say the theta stage and aberration stage, this is like aging and death. So metaphorically, we also say arising and aberration. Whenever there's arising and aberration, there will be theta stage in the middle of these two. Before aberration, they will stand sometimes, short time, after that they perish. Okay, here, dissolutions of formation, the manipulation of formations. Birth conditioned by becoming. So that means jati is conditioned by bhava, becoming. The bhava bhaja jati, right? Then becoming is conditioned by clinging. So that means bhava is conditioned by upadana. Upadana bhaja bhava. Respectively conditioned by craving, feeling, contact, systems basis, materialities, consciousness, formations, and ignorance, as mentioned in the divine origination. So here we just do reverse order. Okay, if we say a little bit clearer. So clinging is conditioned by craving. Ganapachaya upadana. Craving is conditioned by feeling. Vinapachaya dana. Feeling is conditioned by contact. Pasapachaya vedana. Contact is conditioned by six bases. Saranapachaya paso. The senses bases are conditioned by mentality, materiality, namarupapachaya salarana. Mentality, materiality is conditioned by consciousness, vijnanapachaya namarupa. Consciousness is conditioned by formations, sankharapachaya vijnana. Formation is conditioned by ignorance, vichapachaya sankhara. So we can find this kind of order in the Samudra Nikaya. We can also find the same things in Visuddhimagga. So this is also called cause-effect relationship. Then, okay, we should go the next page. It will be easier for you to understand. Thus, in this way, by understanding divine origination in reverse order, one comprehends the conditionality of mentalities and materiality. Consequently, by this knowledge, all doubts are abandoned. Actually, we can also explain many different things about divine originations. Some of the divine originations are past causes, some are present causes. So if we can understand deeply, sure, we can overcome all doubts. For example, Sankhara Bhattaya, Vijnana. Sankhara means all the wholesome and unwholesome. Vijnana means river-linking consciousness. So this life starts from reverse. The cause of this life must be past. Past cause, past karma produces this life. That's why past and present relationship. So there are many, many other conditions we can design past and present relationship. Just give one example. So briefly, in the divine originations, we have to design past and present and future, cause and relationship. That's why we can overcome doubts about past, present, future. This is also called purification or overcoming doubts. Then the meditator must also discern the divine origination orderly, such as Vijabhajya, Sangha, and so on. So I have already mentioned reverse order, right? Starting from Jati. Jati is conditioned by Bhava, right? Start from the one. So we can also discern reverse order. Now, we can also discern orderly as we learn the divine origination. Actually, orderly divine origination is very easy for everybody, right? You have already know many different chants and also. For example, Vijabhajya, Sankhara Bhattaya, Vijnana, Vijnana Bhattaya, Nama Rupa. You have already know all the cause of a relationship. Even in our daily chant, we chant every morning. This is very familiar with all the Buddhists. So we also have to discern all the all types of divine originations, orderly and reverse order. This is also the way to purify our minds, or the way to purify overcoming doubt. So if we can overcome doubt, I have already mentioned, is Chula Sotapanna. Actually, it will be a little bit more in detail in this topic, right? So today I will stop here. Okay, briefly, as a Buddhist, we have to know cause and effect relationship. Without causes, there cannot be the effects. Then at the same time, we can also understand karma ownership. That means we will have done good karma, it will produce good results. When we have done bad karma, it will produce bad results. So when we can discern past and present relationship, present and future relationship, we may have very clear understanding of karma ownership. This is very strong and very powerful because it's a practical experience. So if we can know all the relationship, then we can also believe in karma stronger. If we have very strong belief in karma, then we may not have a wrong view, right? That's why it's also important to have karma ownership knowledge by knowing all the relationship, cause and effect relationship, past, present, future. At the same time, we can also overcome doubt about past, present, future. It will be very effective for our practice. So may you all be able to try to practice 3 trainings, and may you all be able to realize the different originations, cause of a relationship, and also inside knowledges. And at the end, may you all be able to make an end of suffering by realizing the no virtue of cessation of suffering, Nibbana. Okay.
Xiado, what are the causes that we do not meet with the wise one, but always meet with the unwise one? In our life, if we incline to learn different traditions of teaching, will that cause us not able to meet the true Dharma easily in the future? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, in the case of the meeting with the proper teacher, right? We can say like a parami, perfections. In the case of perfection, we may need charana. You know which are charana already, right? Charana means we may have dana, sila, and many samatha, and many other things, right? Many other practices, especially kusala karma. So if we have already accumulated charana, parami, affections, then we may see proper teacher in the proper time. Okay, practically you can also know like King Ajatasattu. He met Devadatta first, earlier than the Buddha. They believe Devadatta is a good teacher. Then he had to suffer a lot. And this is one thing, right? So similarly, in our modern society, many people, they reject good things to do. Okay, for example, even in the meditation retreat, there are many people, they still have attachment to their past practice. They are all habits. When they have to change to new habits, they are not ready. For example, they may try to focus all over the body. When we say, no, don't focus all over the body, just focus on the breathing. They're not ready to change, right? So if we reject parami, we cannot see wise person, right? So then we might accept all the parami. Whenever we have opportunity, do parami. It will be easier, right? So now we incline to learn different traditions of teaching. Okay, this is also one of the things. Even I have this kind of inclination before I write a 𝐴𝐵. In Myanmar, we have many traditions. I should try all the traditions. After that, I will find my own ways to practice. So I also have read many traditional meditation in the books. We have many books in Myanmar, right? So that means we should try. Okay. But one more thing, it was different background. Me and all the listener here, right? Okay, I have to say one thing that happened in Malaysia. In 2013, I was in Malaysia. I read many books written by many different scholars, many different teachers. Then many of my students also read. Maybe they just maybe emulate me, maybe, right? Then they ask many silly questions. I said, I also know how they ask this, why they ask this question. Don't read that kind of books. They also complain. And you also read their books, right? That's not they also read the books. Okay, but I know it's a rubbish, but you don't know it's a rubbish. That's how you follow, right? Sometimes we also have to learn other traditions, although it's a rubbish. We know how it become rubbish. Okay, when we know it's a rubbish, we must give up. This is important, right? Sometimes all is rubbish, we like it. This is not the way to improve. Okay, if we summarize the answer, if you reject parami, you will not see proper teacher in the proper time. This is the one thing. Okay, in the second question you already mentioned, you want to learn different traditions. It's not really the matter. You must be more knowledgeable about Buddha teaching in order that you may not go the wrong path. You may not follow the wrong path. It's really very important, right? Next one. The next one.
For non-ascetic, if they do not practice systematically, how do they discern their past lives? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, quick question, right? Actually, we have some statements in, I don't remember which part of Vidama. Okay, I don't know which part of practice. Anyway, okay, and I have learned this one in British Samhita. Okay, I remember some parts, but in Wisdom we mentioned the same. Actually, nobody ascetic also can see the past lives, but not so strong as a Buddhist disciple, right? I have already mentioned even today Dhamma talk. That means they can also see Nama Rupa, but not so clear as Buddha's teaching. That's why they cannot know very clearly. Actually, we also have many other explanations about the practice, especially, how about this one? I think I already explained about 6 different types of people, the practitioner who can see the past. Right? So among the statements, they also mentions like a noble ascetics also can know their past lives. Also like some like Buddha disciples, ordinary disciples, and also like a great disciples, Pachika Buddha and the Buddha. That we have different conditions of practitioners, right? The different conditions who know the past lives. Okay, so now I will say very simple things. The first one is like a non-Buddha ascetics. They can also know the past lives, but they are Westerners are not so strong that I already mentioned like a blind person, right? They will use walking stick, touch, and they have to go. This is one thing. But about Bhakti Savaka, the normal ordinary disciples, they can also know the past lives, but they can follow the kanda, right? Not only that, they also can know like death and rebirths. They can skip many namarupas, like death moment to rebirth moments. They can skip, they can jump, right? So they are a little stronger than non-Buddha ascetics. Okay, briefly, non-Buddha also, according to Caitanya Sutta, non-Buddha also can know namarupas, can know aggregates, but they don't have very strong inside knowledge, right? They may have some their own system, right? Not so systematic like Buddha teaching. That's why they cannot know many past lives. They can just know very limited past lives. We can say like that, right? Next one. Okay.
Dear Sayadaw, when a meditator discerns his past lives, will he be able to know clearly what was happening in his mind and body? For example, the breaking up of 4 elements in her body before death. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, when we talk about insight knowledge, it's not that clear, right? We can know only past causes. Then we can also see the dead body, maybe, right? Some meditator, they cannot see dead body also. It depends on their concentration quality. So in this case, we don't have like fixed solutions or fixed answer. It depends on meditator's conditions. There will be different experiences. So as you mentioned here, breaking up of 4 elements in her body before death, right? Actually, we cannot say breaking up the 4 elements, right? That means body pass away, disappearance of nama rupas, right? Disappearance of nama rupa in the past lives. Then there's another arising of nama rupa in the future, in the new lives. We can understand like that, right? Okay, the next question.
Please Sayadaw's advice by recites mantra is it Silabbata Mantra is for concentration, also to connect another being. Is it right? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, we don't have this kind of teaching in our traditions, right? By chanting, reciting mantra, it doesn't mention we can connect to another living beings, right? It's not according to Theravada tradition. It will be another tradition. Okay, in the case of Silabbata Paramasa, that means it's not very useful for our practice. We should not do. It's not useful for our liberations, or we should not do it, right? So I don't recommend this kind of things. Okay, according to your question, we can also say like a chanting or reciting mantra also can be Silabra Paramasa, sure. Another thing? Another one?
Based on insight meditation, can a meditator discern how many world systems being destroyed by fire, water, and wind, also the process of destruction till formation of the world? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, surely this means by insight meditation, I've already said we cannot see conceptualized properties. So that's why we cannot see distractions of right the world system or anything. We just know aggregates and their causes and some part of their life. So it's not that long, right? Okay, next one.
When a meditator practices dependent origination, if he can tell many details about his past and his relationship with many people around him, can we trust his saying? Is this vipassana knowledge or physical power?
Second power. Actually, if somebody said that much in detail, we should not believe, right? Actually, if we okay, one more thing here for your information, right? Real practitioner is not that much talkative. If somebody is too much talkative, it's not really practicing. We can understand like that, right? If we know many things in detail about many people in the past, it can be second power, not inside knowledge. Okay, next one.
If someone has committed an offense when he temporarily detained as Samanala, novice, more than 10 years ago, like playing a video game or watching someone playing a video game, and he is now a layperson, should he worry about that offense? Can he still go to a good realm or succeed in meditation if he drinks as a novice again? Does he need to be punished for the previous mistakes? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, this kind of mistake is not that much big problem, right? Of course, there's agusala karma. If you remember agusala karma frequently, right, that's not really very good habit. Okay, according to our traditions, you can reordain as a samniras again. It doesn't matter. So you don't need to be, maybe you are not need to be punished, right? Then, okay, because you have a disrobe, right? This is a new life, new ordination. In this case, it doesn't matter. Next one.
So Vanami said all. So regarding of right concentration, so including the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and fourth rupa jhana. So my question is, the arupa jhana also considers the right concentration, and also how about asset concentration? Can it be considered as the right concentration? And the second part of the question here is the arupa jhana has the same number of the cetasika associated with the arupa jhana, and also the fourth jhana. Is that the same number of cetasika associated with the four rupa jhana and the other arupa jhana?
Okay. Okay, for about the first question, right? Asset concentration are also called Citta-visuddhi or Sama-samadhi. Actually, when we study in the commentary, it mentions together with asset concentration, 8 attainments are called Sama-samadhi. Right? When we say first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, this can be found only in the Pali Canon. So if we study according to Pali Canon, it can be first jhana to fourth jhana, even it does not include immaterial jhana. So according to commentary, we can understand asset concentration and immaterial jhana are also Sama-samadhi, right? This is for the first question. Okay, another thing is the number of immaterial jhanas. The number of mentalities in immaterial jhanas, right? They are also same to the fourth jhana of fourth material jhana. Then one more thing here, different objects. We must be very careful, right? So in the case of fourth jhana, it can be like a kasinas or anapanasati or something. But in the case of immaterial jhana, different immaterial jhana have different objects. So we must understand two different things like this. Is it good enough? Okay. The next one.
In Tibetan tradition, some gurus are able to guide yogis to see their past lives and even what are the relationship between different yogis. They are also able to guide you to see how one had committed some wrongs in the past, how to relinquish those causes planted then so as to improve current life and soul relationship. Is this possible? Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
Okay, here to relinquish those causes planted, this one is showing to me also. Actually, we cannot undo our past causes, right? So as long as there's a conditions, all the past causes will arises to produce a result in the future, even what I cannot avoid, right? So that kind of things that is strange to me. How to relinquish those causes, right? Okay. That kind of things that is strange to me also. Right? So, but that means by psychic power, maybe they may know their past lives. With only inside knowledge, we cannot know. Right? We don't know how they practice also. That's why I cannot do any comment. Next one.
How important is parami in attaining jhana and inside knowledge? Can anyone attain jhana if they try hard? How can we be skillful in meditation? How many hours or sessions should we meditate to be successful at home? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, how important is the parami in training jhana and insight, in attaining jhana and inside knowledge? This one is the first part, right? So in the case of jhana, we don't need to talk about parami too much. We just need to be diligent, so we must be skillful. This is actually good enough, right? What about inside knowledges? Sure, we may need parami to attain path and first knowledge, right? Without that, we cannot attain any path and first knowledge. So the main thing is we must have done good things in the past. Okay, if we are very slow improvement, in this very life, we must try very hard to accumulate more parami, to fulfill more parami. Right? This is also important. So in this very life, we need more experiences, more skill, more diligence. It will be okay. So the second question: can anyone attain jhana if they try hard? Okay, here it depends on their skill also. Although they're trying very hard, if they are not very skillful, they cannot attain. Right? So that means although we are very diligent, if we are unwise, we cannot attain, we can say. How can we be skillful in meditation? Okay, sometimes skill also comes from experiences. Sometimes after making many mistakes, we become skillful. Sometimes we can also learn from other people that we may have less mistakes. We can become skillful. Okay, if you have all the many difficulties, if you have already overcome many difficulties, then you must know what is your weakness. If you know what is your weakness, you will become skillful. You can change and you will become skillful, right? So how many hours or sections should we meditate to be successful at home, right? So in this case, if it depends on your conditions, for maintenance, you may need 2-hour meditations. For improvement, you may need 4-hour meditation at least. It should be more than that also, right? So if you can practice well, you will improve. So okay, one more thing here. I have said many times, right? All the improvement does not come from duration. It just comes from skill. Although you sit very long time, if you are not very skillful, you cannot improve. So that means you can meditate 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. At the same time, you must be skillful for maintenance. Then you will be successful. Okay, next one.
According to Xiaodu explanation today, should we try our best to meditate well to bear our bodily pain so that before we die, we will not arise unwholesome mind? What are the meditation objects we can try? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, for endure or for bear our pain, right? To bear our pain, it will be many different objects. What kind of things make you happy, rejoice, also tranquilize your mind? It depends on your conditions. There can be different meditation subjects. Okay, practically, a few days ago, I have some instructions of the regulation to recall it 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 Even some CLAs, they have a lot of charity in the past. Now, when they recall, they can find the force of their charity. That means their mind is not free when they are offering, right? So similarly now, you may have already offered many different things to many different people. If you have free offering without any expectation, this is the qualifying charity. When you recall, you can rejoice. You can feel happy. It also can be for your meditation subjects. This is an example, right? Similarly, morality. If you have very pure morality, you can also recall your morality. And not only that, there are many other of your qualities, such as Devadanussati. In the Devadanussati, Saddha, you also have like a Viriya, Sati, Saddha, Sila, Sudha, Jaga, Panya. You can recall these 5 qualities. It will be easier for you to rejoice, to feel happy, to tranquilize your mind. If you can tranquilize your mind, sure, you can overcome. Pay. Okay, so that means it depends on your conditions. You can choose what subject make you happy and tranquilize your mind. It will be the best for you, right? The next one.
When we are meditating on the 4 elements, do we have to feel the elements with our mind, or should we tense our body to feel characteristics like hardness? When we are practicing Buddha Nussati, how do we know if we are improving? What should we expect to see or experience? When I practice Buddha Nussati, I feel happy, but I still have wandering thoughts. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So the first one, when we talk about 4 elements, it doesn't mean you have to feel very hard or very much tension. As long as you can know natural hardness all over the body is good enough. For example, flesh and bone, different hardness, different degree of hardness. You must know them naturally. If you're trying to force too much, if you're trying to feel tension in your body, later you may not feel free and comfort. The more you struggle, the more you make efforts, the more you become tension, the more you feel tension. Okay, it should be natural hardness, natural softness, natural heaviness, natural lightness. It will be easier for you to maintain. If you do force too much, it's not that easy for you, or you cannot maintain very long time. For about Buddha Nussati, okay, there are some signs of improvement in Buddha Nussati. For example, you may feel like you are together with the Buddha. You are living together with the Buddha inside in the same room. This is also called improvement, right? Okay, very clear one is that you may see the light. You may also see Buddha's image under the light. We can see this also sign of improvement. You may have very strong joy and tranquility when seeing the Buddha, when we call it Buddha's quality. This is also called sign of improvement. Okay, for about wandering thoughts, as long as your mind and the object become not very harmonized, you may have wandering thoughts. When your object and the mind become very harmonized, it will be okay. Right? If your mind and the object become harmonious, then no more thoughts. It depends on your skill. Okay, if you know how to harmonize your mind with the object, then it will be easier for you. Okay, the next one.
If someone reaches Kaṅkhāvitaraṇavisuddhi, equanimity, Vipanassa knowledge, but wants to become a Buddha, should he continue or stop practicing Vipanassa? Is it possible for someone who wants to become a Buddha to become a Sotapanna if he keeps practicing Vipanassa after reaching Kaṅkhāvitaraṇavisuddhi? Is he also free from wrong views in future lives? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, for about the first question, although he bound to be the Buddha, he could practice anti-Saṅkharupakanjana, or although he has attained Saṅkharupakanjana, he could continue practicing Saṅkharupakanjana, Vipassana, continuously to make stronger habits, right? So it doesn't mean after attaining Saṅkharupakanjana, stop practicing. Keep practicing in the Saṅkharupakanjana very long time. This is for parami. Okay, another one. If somebody wishes to be Buddha, he cannot attain Sotapanna. If he becomes Sotapanna, he cannot become Buddha. All the Bodhisattva must be ordinary people. Okay, so that means he will be free from wrong view in the future. There's no guarantee. Of course, for Bodhisattva, they will not have a wrong view, right? They believe in karma and delete. So it will be a little bit different from ordinary people. Okay, next one.
Vanami said, I can sit, I can meditate about from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. I can focus on the breath continuously for 50 minutes. So I feel like very cool and very light sensation from my from the top of my head. So I respectfully ask Sayadaw guidance. So what does that mean and how should I continue?
Tension all over the head.
The light sensation, the light feel very light and very cool sensation. Yeah, feeling, yes.
Actually, when you are practicing Anapanasati, I don't recommend to feel anything in your body, right? We have already suggested not to follow any general characteristics and individual characteristics. If you think about cold and heat or many other things, this is the nature of 4 elements, of the elements, sorry, 5 elements, right? That's why I don't recommend to scan your body. If you know something in your body, you are not focused on the breathing. It should be simple, right? Another thing is that don't be so curious about your experiences. Why, how, right? If you have a lot of questions like this, you may have more doubt about your practice. Whenever you have new experiences, you may have this kind of question, right? Why it's happened? Or how it's happened? Don't ask these 2 questions to yourself. If you have these 2 questions all the time, you may have doubts about your practice all the time. Okay? So please leave aside. Keep knowing main object. It will be easier for you for improvement.
Yes, Vanami said so average I can meditate about 1 hour a day for 1 section per day. So during meditation, my mind often wander and I find myself thinking a lot. And sometimes I feel my body is swing here and there. And also I feel sleepiness, Tinamida. And how should I practice to improve my meditation? So I respectfully ask Sayadaw advice.
Shrinking or swaying?
Swinging, shaking,
swaying,
yeah, swinging, yeah, shaking.
Okay. So yeah, in this case, when you follow the breathing too much, your body will sway. Be careful, right? So don't follow breathing too much. This is one thing. What about the Tinamida? If you have like a normal Tinamida, right? Then you can slightly open your eyes, keep moving breathing. You go and you can overcome Tinamida. Then you can close your eyes. It will be okay. But sometimes it's caused by food, or you have to take some medicine, for example, right? At the time, although you try very hard, you're going to overcome drowsy. It's caused by food or medicine. So it depends on your condition. You can choose different conditions, right? So choose drowsy. If you have so much drowsiness, okay, slightly open your eyes, keep on breathing. This is an easier solution. Okay, next one.
How to know if we are a bodhisattva or we have received a definitive prophecy in the past? If someone becomes a Sotapanna, does he need to go through the 16 stages of Vipassana again? If someone recollects many of his past lives through supernormal powers, how long does it take to remember those past lives? Can he remember hundreds of past lives in a few seconds? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So when we talk about the first question, right? Then Bodhisattva have received definite prophecy. How can we know that one, right? Actually, we have some inclinations of Bodhisattva. Actually, we can find all these the inclinations, right? That means their wish. So their mind always inclined to release from greed. They are also inclined to release from hatred. They are also always inclined to release from ignorance. Then they are always inclined to renunciation. Then they are inclined to seclusion, to live in the seclusion. Right? Although they want to be free from round of samsara. These are their inclination. So when your mind inclined to this kind of things frequently, sure, we can know, right? But if your mind does not incline to all these conditions, you are not bodhisattva. Just normal people, right? Okay, for about Sotapanna and Vipassana. In the case of Sotapanna, they have already overcome doubt, right? So they don't need to start from Namarupa discernment that much in detail because they have already known, right? That's why for them it will be easier. So the first step will be faster for their practice. Okay, another one. If someone recollects past lives, right? What is that? Okay. Then how long does it take? This is the main thing, right? It depends on masteries. If they are practicing masteries systematically, or when their mastery is very strong, okay, as you say here, within a few seconds, they can know many, many past lives. That means, okay, they can jump many past lives. It depends on their skill. So, okay, if we summarize, it's come from masteries. Okay. Next one.
When practicing dependent origination practically, some meditators encounter many problems and unable to discern the past lives. How should one train to be skillful and accurate in the discernment? Is there anything they need to take note or avoid while doing this practice? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, there are actually many different conditions of problem. For example, there are some people, they are not very strong in Namarupa discernment. Then when they have this kind of unclear Namarupa discernment, they cannot discern the past. This is one of the things. So when they have this kind of problem, then we have to encourage them to discern Namarupas clearer. If they cannot do well, okay, we can ask them to discern Lakkhana Chatuka, the characteristics, financial manifestation, prosemic cause of Namarupas. Then this is one way, right? If they cannot do, okay, we have another options. That is resamblation concentration. Then we have also some cases because of the light, brightness. Although they can discern Namarupas very clearly, but their light awareness is not very strong, then they may have difficulty to see the past. This is also one of the things. Now that is concentration. Their concentration is not so strong, not so sharp. That's why they cannot see the past. They cannot discern the past. There's also another issues. So it depends on the problem they have. We have different solutions. Okay, I already mentioned Namarupas. Namarupas not very clear. Okay, discern Namarupas and it become very clear. Or discern characteristics, function, manifestation, prosemic cause of namarupas. This is the one issue, right? Another thing, the brightness. If their light is not very bright, so they must establish concentration until they have very bright light. This is another issue, right? Another solutions. So sometimes, right, their past life is like, for example, very difficult to discern. Okay, I will say in easier way. Their past life is a very high ranking life, like for example, divine beings. Then it's very bright. Even divine beings also have very bright light. Sometimes we cannot see very clearly. This also can happen. In this kind of case, if they are not all of they take very long time, although they have very bright lights, they cannot see the past, then we can also go to the future. I rather come back to the past. This is also possible, right? So there's some cause effect relationship with past and the future, or sorry, present and the future. After this and the future, go back to the past. This is also another solutions, right? Okay, the main thing is sometimes you may expect too much, then you may skip many namarupas in the process, right? Don't follow namarupas in detail. If you skip many namarupas when we are descending, going backward into the past, then there will be the problem also. Okay, if we summarize, you must avoid skipping namarupas. This is one thing. Now, don't create anything. There's one. If you create something, it's not natural anymore. You're going to see the past. So follow namarupa systematically, slowly, clearly, in detail. It will be easier. Okay. The next one.
Yes, Yador, related to the question 9, how about Kanika Samadhi? Is it also right concentration? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Kanika Samadhi is only in Vipassana, right? So we have already talked about Kanika Samadhi before. Entering to the first jhana, emerging from first jhana, just namarupas, they are resonant and present away. When we are practicing Vipassana, Kanika Samadhi arise. I have already mentioned before, right? So Kanika Samadhi is in Vipassana. That's why it is also called right concentration.
So Vanami said also, regarding in the Dana Parami, so the Bodhisattva already offer his wife and his children. So Vanami said also, my question is, offer the wife and children, is that the so that all have to be done to able to attain Arahant, or only for the Bodhisattva only for the Sammasambuddha only, or everybody have to offer to practice the Dana Parami, offer wife and children or husband and children to attain the Arahant, or only for the Sammasambuddha only?
Only for Sammasambuddha, right? For Pajika Buddha or other, they don't need to do all this kind of very high rank and very difficult parami, right? Etavataja amehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe sada numodandu sabba sambati siriya idhamme nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo idhamme nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo idhamme nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo idhamme bunyam asawakaya waham hodu idhamme bunyam nibbanasa pajayo hodu mama bunya bhagam sabba sadanam bhajemi te sabbe me samam punya bhagam labandu sadhu sadhu sadhu.